better late than never. I am here today to tell you what I watched in the month of April. It has been a long month. Okay, to start things off, in my Discord's watch party, we watched The Other Hell from 1981. This is a nunsploitation flick. I believe it's Italian. Yeah. Directed by Bruno Mattei. I had a really good time with this movie. It's just kind of a mess. It's very crazy, but it's just like good surface level fun. You don't have to try to understand it. You can just enjoy the ride. It has just got tons of blasphemy, so it was a great time. I watched Count Dracula's Great Love from 1973. Brian sent this to me, and I loved this movie, as you may have seen, because I just did a review on it. This is a Paul Naschy film, and it's just very, very charming, very lovable. It's really bad. But this is a perfect example of a so bad it's good movie. It's a really nice cast, really nice setting. It's very sloppy, but a very cute movie. Next was Immaculate from 2024. There's been a little bit of talk of this movie in the giallo community, and I watched the trailer, and the trailer just made it look really good, so we went to the theater and watched it. And I feel kind of neutral about it. I did a whole review, but this is a nun movie, another nun movie, and it looks really pretty and everything, but I don't know. I guess maybe it didn't go the direction that I wanted it to go, so it didn't click with me like, you know, something like Dracula's Great Love. But it was well made and it was fun to go see. But I just don't know if I will be returning to that. However, for you giallo fans, if you didn't watch my review of Immaculate, they do reuse a beloved song from a giallo film that is instantly recognizable. So that was a special little moment. Okay, next. I don't know what I was thinking. We watched this movie called Baghead from 2023. But I was watching somebody's video that was talking about like new horror that's coming out, and on the day I was watching the video, they said this movie called Baghead's coming out on Shudder on this day. So I was like, well, let me just watch Baghead, because I thought the title was great. Because it made me think of The Strangers or something like that. Boy, it was not good. It was like it was a lot like Talk to Me, except that it wasn't good. It wasn't effective. Like I don't know what the problem with it was, like why it wasn't gripping at all, like why I didn't feel invested in any way, but it just wasn't entertaining. There was one part that scared me.
There are no answers for you here. There is only
So props to that, but it just didn't have anything going on. Next, I watched Count Yorga, Vampire from 1970. And y'all know, you may know, because I did a review on it a couple videos back, that I loved this movie. And I love Count Yorga. This is a vampire film taking place in modern day. Of course, modern day being 1970. It's just a blast. Very fun. So then, of course, I had to follow it up with the return of Count Yorga from 1971. And a lot of you guys were saying that the return is really, really good, or even better than part one, but I didn't really like part two that much. Obviously, like, I'm gonna watch it again because I like just to be able to spend more time with Count Yorga, but this one was not that great in my opinion. In my review, I wrote that the film felt uninspired and clunky and like didn't have much pizzazz or creativity to it. Yeah, it just did not serve like part one, honestly, but we still love Count Yorga. We love Robert Quarry. Next up, Craig sent me Theater of Blood from 1973, and I'm sure a lot of you will be pleased that I have finally seen Theater of Blood, because anytime I talk about Vincent Price and just the fact that I haven't had much exposure to him yet. Like, everyone's always like, theater of blood, theater of blood, theater of blood. So I watched it, and man, this was a crazy movie. I don't want to say overstuffed, but very stuffed full. Very just jam-packed full of nutrient-dense content, okay? So what is Theater of Blood about? Well, I'm sure most of you already know, but Vincent Price is the lead, and he is playing a very theatrical murderer. We'll just say that. This is a very like Shakespearean type of film. Like, I was thinking the whole time, this seems like something I would watch in my English class in high school if it wasn't so graphic. I see what everyone is saying about this being one of his greatest performances. It's awesome. It's very cool. The movie is just so, it's very weird. It's bonkers. That's a good word. It's bonkers. There's a lot going on. It's kind of chaotic, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. Obviously, there's a lot of comedy involved, and it was really fun. It's just a lot to take in, y'all. But thank you so much to Craig for sending this to me. Definitely a blast. Definitely great performances. Very innovative story, and just creative and fun. Okay, next up. I think I was not feeling well or something, so I wanted a Lifetime movie, as one does. And I think part of why I reach for Lifetime movies when I'm not feeling well is because I know like I might fall asleep, or I know I don't want to think too much and I just want to watch something like that's like for stupid people because I'm in like a stupid frame of mind.
Lifetime. Television for idiots.
I don't even know how I found it, but I watched this movie called The Stalker Club from 2017 because I do like stalker movies, and I like teenager movies, especially when teenagers are involved in something sinister, and this looked like a combination of all of it. So I pushed play on Stalker Club, and let me tell you, I was very, very pleasantly surprised. This was not just a throwaway movie. This was really fun, in my opinion. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if this is an actual Lifetime movie, but it's just what I just use that as a blanket term for any of these cheap made-for-TV, like, thriller movies. So, Stalker Club is about this, like, group of 5 teenagers, and they decide to play this game called Stalker Club, where each person will draw a little piece of paper. 4 of them will be a victim, and 1 of them will be stalker. So, the one who's a stalker has to stalk the other 4, and the group tries to figure out which person is the stalker. And I think this was a really, really awesome story. I don't know if it was lifted from somewhere or if it has been done a million times and I just didn't know, but I loved this story, and I love the way things played out. Now, obviously, if this was not like a PG-13 Lifetime movie, they could have gone in way harder and made it like way more brutal, way more scary. But I think the level that it's at makes for a great like intro to horror, or like light horror, or maybe something that like if you have a young kid that's interested in horror, this isn't too scary and it isn't too violent, that it would be, it's like nice middle ground. I am a fan of this movie mostly because of the actual story, the actual story writing here. I do have some critiques, but I'm not going to get into it here. If you're interested, I did write a big long Letterboxd review, but Stalker Club was really fun. I'm probably going to watch it again, and I would love to show it to somebody. Like maybe someone who's not that into horror, or like my niece or nephew that might want to watch a scary movie. Stalker Club. I can't say it. Stalker Club was so much fun. Oh my gosh, I forgot I watched this. Oh my gosh. Okay, next I watched this movie called Pretty Obsession from 2012. I thought it was going to be like a cautionary Lifetime movie about, I saw that it was about a cam girl who gets into a dangerous situation. So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna like kind of put this moral judgment on cam girl work and show how dangerous it can be. And that was not what this movie was at all. This was not a Lifetime movie. But it definitely, I feel like it was trying to present that way. But then when you click on it, like the opening, like while the opening credits are rolling, we get our cam girl character like doing cam girl things, like, and they show it. Like, so this is clear, this is rated R. Okay, this is not like Lifetime made for TV stuff. This is explicit. And I was like, okay. The messaging is very unclear in this movie because it's like, it's kind of an erotic movie. It's not trying to be a cautionary tale. It's not trying to warn you of anything. It's just merely telling a story of these girls who get into the cam girl business, and a guy, a stalker, happens upon them and takes a liking to one of them. But it's really weird because it's almost like it also kind of wanted to be a horror movie, but it didn't quite deliver on that either. It's I can't even begin to describe this movie to you. It's also cheap as hell. Like, it is trash.
What is that over there?
Oh, this is a didgeridoo. They come from Australia.
Oh, wow. It's a very big stick.
I know, huh? What are you saying? Something like that. You ever blown a raspberry?
That's one thing I've not blown.
But I still had to keep watching it because I did eventually start to take a liking to our two main girls. I don't know why this movie exists, honestly. If you ended up watching it after seeing my Letterboxd review, let me know, because we need to talk, I guess. When I was watching it, I felt kind of icky. Like, it felt like a really dirty movie. I decided to keep going because I got on Letterboxd and read other people's reviews. And I had to see what they were all talking about. But there's one kill in this movie that's just... We have a storm coming. Oh my god. I guess I'll have to finish this video inside. Okay, that is how fast a storm can appear. The one time I try to film outside. Anyway, let's move on to Baba Yaga 1973. Oh my gosh. I'm like way too tired to even try to describe these insane movies I have been watching. But Baba Yaga has Carol Baker in it. Oh, and George Eastman. And I had no idea it was going to be so bizarre as it was. Woo, it's a nonsense movie. I believe it was Morg on our Discord. She described it, or compared it to Daughters of Darkness. It did bear a lot of similarities to Daughters of Darkness. It was just really weird. It was really, like, it was one of those movies where you're like, am I going crazy? I guess it has what you would call dream logic. It's just, what? I would probably watch it again though, because I loved the apartment in the movie. It was beautiful. It was weird though. I mean, Carol Baker played a very interesting character. Next, I watched Frightmare from 1974. I bought this off of someone. I blind bought it with like a stack of other movies. I slept on this. This was very, very good. This is a British kind of slasher movie. It all, like, 1974, it was giving like 1984. It seemed kind of ahead of its time, but it was just so much fun. This is a fun movie. It's a great story. Really, really interesting, well-paced, great characters. It was hilarious. This is a good watch. It would go really well being paired with like 80s slashers. It has that same sort of ridiculousness and cheesiness and like surprises and sort of like off the wall kind of story. But yeah, this was great. Really good. Next, what was wrong with me? Something was wrong with me. I had a headache or something. So I watched Babe Oopsie 2 and 3 because I just go on this like Oopsie rotation. So that was the point I was at in the trilogy. And then finally, we wrapped up the month with a movie that I definitely should have seen by now, and I just hadn't seen. And that is The Omen from 1976. You heard right. There are a few classics that I'm still sitting on that I still have not seen. And I don't know why, but part of it is like just saving it, because I know I have something really important to look forward to, like something really important that I haven't seen yet that I get to see. So, The Omen 1976. This was sent to me by Brian, by the way. I think it was really, really good. It was very dark, very grim, very scary. I can absolutely see why this movie and other movies, but this one in particular, how it contributed to a lot of fear in society, a lot of the like satanic panic kind of stuff going on, because it's scary. And I can definitely see the influence from it that has been passed down, like to even me being a school kid talking about things like this with my classmates. I feel like this was a major cultural influence for sure. This was a really great movie. I loved the scene in the cemetery, how it just had this almost like this archaeological, it had this ancient aspect to it that was just really good. Great movie, truly. I thought it was really interesting that there's like no comic relief. There's no fun here. Like, it's very heavy, very dark from the get-go. One thing that I thought was interesting, just because I have heard about this film over the years, so there were certain things that I knew, but I was surprised that it really wasn't about what the boy was doing. It wasn't about Damien and Damien's actions. It was more about like the circumstances surrounding Damien. And yeah, I had no idea that he hardly had any lines in the whole movie. It's more about like the bad luck that emanates from him. He's not necessarily doing the stuff. So I thought that was really interesting. I kind of thought he might be like 7 or 8 and would be like saying creepy shit all the time, or like actually doing the creepy shit, but it's like earlier in the story. But I think that is a really cool angle to be able to see what it's like to have an antichrist 5-year-old. It was really good. I'm all grown up now. I've seen The Omen. Okay, it took a lot of fumbling over words, a lot of non-descriptive descriptions, and a storm and a relocation and lighting and camera adjustments constantly, but we finished the video. That is what I watched in April. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I tried my best. I've been sick, so my throat is like very tired. I'm already off to a great start here in May, so I'll see you back at the end of May for what I watched once again. Ciao for now.